Hello, this is Devan, your financial literacy plug, and whatever else you do not do, I would suggest that you watch this video from beginning to end, especially if you are seriously considering taking a loan from some of these fintech organizations that are currently all over the place online. It might turn out to be easily one of the worst mistakes you could ever make. So today I'm focusing on what I would prefer to call loan sharks. There could not be a more befitting way of naming these loaning agencies than calling them sharks. In this video, I'm going to give you 8 reasons why you must avoid them at all costs. Usually, getting their loans is fast and easy. It might not even take up to 24 hours to get approval. And usually, you're required to pay back that loan within a span of 7 days. Now, we all know that conventional banks, even with microfinance banks, it's not that easy. In many instances, you have to provide collateral, meaning you have to give the bank something to hold on to in lieu of the money you're going to pay back. And then it takes a while to process the loan, probably months, sometimes depending on the amount of money involved. It might take even up to a year. Here are 8 reasons why you should avoid them at all costs. First of all, you should understand that these loan sharks are operating illegally. They do not have license from the Central Bank of Nigeria to carry out the activities that they're carrying out. And quite a number of them are not even registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Not only that, they do not have a physical address. Quite a number of them do not have websites. There's no way of locating them. So that is the first thing you need to watch out for. You don't want to be doing business with an entity that is illegal, because chances are very good that you are going to get ripped off. And that is how these loan sharks operate. Number 2, they provide these loans at astronomically high interest rates. So let's say, for instance, many commercial banks will give you a loan. Sometimes, if you're lucky and the federal government has intervened, you could get a loan at a single-digit interest rate, meaning that the interest rate will not be up to 10%, but ordinarily it's in double digits, sometimes up to 25% and even 30%, with the regular commercial banks or microfinance banks as registered with the CBN or licensed by the CBN. Now, with these loan sharks, they will give you these loans speedily, and you might be shocked to find out that the interest rate might be up to 50 to 70%. Now, this means that if you have borrowed the sum of, say, 10,000 naira, they will be expecting you to pay back, if it is 50%, they'll be expecting you to pay them back 15,000 naira within a span of 7 days. This might not sound like a lot of money, but I think we can all agree that anybody who is at pains to borrow 10,000 naira from a loan shark is facing desperate financial times. The chances of this person being able to cough up an additional 5,000 naira to add to the 10,000 naira within a span of 7 days is slim to 0. So, the interest rates are ridiculously high, and you are expected to pay without default. There's a very short turnaround time, meaning that these loans that they usually they are micro loans, very small loans, under the sum of 100,000 naira, 50,000 naira, 20,000. Sometimes people borrow as little as 8,500 naira. But that's to show you the desperate times people are going through at the moment. When you borrow from standard banks, commercial banks, or microfinance banks, at least those ones that have been licensed by the CBN to function as such, you are given up to 60 days at the very minimum to pay that loan back. With these fintechs, or these loan sharks, to be more accurate, the payback time is just 7 days. And usually they start threatening you by day 5. That's point number 3. Point number 4, interest deduction even before disbursement of loan. Let's say that you've applied for 10,000 naira and they expect you to pay them back at a 50% interest rate, which means you're going to add 5,000 naira to that 10,000 when you're paying back. You could be unlucky enough that instead of being given 10,000 naira that you applied for, you'd be given 5,000 naira because they've already removed the 5,000 naira interest rates they were expecting you to pay back after 1 week. Now, for you to have applied for 10,000 naira, clearly you needed up to that amount to solve whatever problem it was. So you now end up with half the amount. You're probably not able to achieve what you needed to achieve, and the purpose is defeated. Point number 5, they have very stringent loan default penalties. These include threats, bullying, having your reputation tarnished, harassment, publishing your personal and financial data online, reaching out to all the contacts in your phone to send them spurious messages regarding your character. In fact, they embark on character assassination. And sometimes, if you are really unlucky, this goes on long after you have finished paying the money back. If you happen to default, which we're talking about default right now, default means that you were meant to pay in 7 days, but you could not pay in 7 days and you ended up paying after 10 days. First of all, the interest rate begins to gallop. So if you are meant to pay 5,000 naira in addition to the money you had borrowed, maybe because of those extra 3 days, you would have incurred another 5,000 naira. Because you defaulted by a day or 2. And if you've been unlucky enough to default for up to a month, you now find that the 10,000 naira you borrowed, because of the galloping interest rates and everything they have attached to it, after a month, you're owing them about 70,000 naira. The 6th reason why you want to avoid these loan sharks like the plague is the damage to your reputation. They have been known to tell outright lies. They have been known to accuse people of armed robbery, of fraud. They have put out information out there impugning people's health image. People have been labeled as being HIV positive when they were not. It's a no-hold-bars affair when they set out to tarnish your image, and they usually do it very successfully. Point number 7. Now, these loan sharks also have a tendency to make fraudulent claims, and to buttress this point, I'll just read a very interesting piece about something that happened to one of their unfortunate clients. Now, this is the story of a certain Mr. James, who had taken the loan of 13,500 naira from Naira Plus on July 21. His due date was July 27. He was meant to pay the money back by the 27th of July. But the loan shark told James on the due date that he was overdue by 86 days. He was now charged 30,645 naira. Now remember, the loan itself is 13,500 naira. James pleaded for an extension to pay the loan off, but the Naira Plus agent declined and started sending him death threats about his family members and defamatory messages to his contacts. James says they attached my complete phone number to the messages before sending it out to my contacts and family members. Now, in this case, the loan shark was not even interested in the fact that this man had been given 6 days to pay the loan back. They simply made up a story that he was already overdue by 86 days and proceeded to impugn his character. The eighth point. I have chosen to label this third-party attack. Now, let's imagine that you lose your phone. This is something that happens every day. People just lose their phone. Sometimes you forget it in a shop, in a taxi. Somebody outrightly steals it, just picks it out of your purse or whatever. If you are unlucky enough to have the kind of phone that can easily be broken into, and the person is mischievous enough, this person that has stolen your phone can use all of your personal details to take a loan from these loan sharks, and you will be stuck with the responsibility for paying back. Now, if you do not find these 8 reasons frightening enough, then I don't know what else you need to know to avoid them. I'm going to read out a list of some of the more notorious ones. This list is by no means exhaustive. You'll have to do some research yourself. They include Go Cash, O Cash, Easy Credit, Cash Cash, Speedy Choice, Easy Money, iMoney Nigeria, X Credit, Credit Niger, Cash Lion, Naira Plus, L Cash, Soko Loan, and a host of others too numerous to name. You have to download their app into your phone when you're trying to take these loans. In the course of downloading that app, they will require you to provide your bank verification number, that's your BVN, permit access to your location, access to pictures and videos, phone contacts, media, and other such files on your phone. You're also required to put your financial details to allow the app algorithm to generate a credit rating before issuing the loan. Now, once you've granted these apps all of these permissions, that is how they're able to access all the contacts in your phone. As investigations have proceeded into how these loan sharks function, it has been discovered more and more that it's almost strictly the Chinese collaborating with unscrupulous Nigerians to rip off other unsuspecting Nigerians. Many of these loan sharks have a parent company. So you could have X Cash, X Money, L Loan, and so on and so forth. And they are all domiciled under a parent company. Now, let's assume that you've taken a small loan of 12,000 Naira from X Cash. After 3 or 4 days, they're threatening you and everything. So you decide, okay, listen, I don't want to get into trouble with these people. You now decide to borrow the same amount of money with the interest rate to pay back to X Cash. You now borrow from L Money. And unbeknownst to you, X Cash and L Money belong to the same parent company. So you are essentially reborrowing from that same firm to pay them back their loan. I don't know if it's making sense. It's like you borrow money from me and then I start harassing you to pay me back. And you're like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. So you go and meet my husband, you borrow money from him and pay me back. I mean, what's the difference between me and my husband? We're essentially the same person. And that's how some of these loan sharks function. I hope you found this video useful. And if you have, please do well to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Then tune in again next week, because in my next video, I'll be sharing with you what you can do if you're already in trouble with loan sharks. much.